Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the Living in Utah live question and answer session here Thursday evening. I try to make it every Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Mountain Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. This is an opportunity. You're welcome to ask any kind of questions. It's a free forum. Um, I get people who live in the United States, and I get some people out of the United States. Last week, we had a couple individuals from outside the United States. So if you've got questions about the United States also, by all means, shoot them at me. I'll do the very best to answer what I can. It's been a little bit of a chilly week in Utah. We had a storm front come, got some much needed precipitation in the form of um, snow. So quite a bit in the mountains, fair amount in the mountains. So we need every bit that we can get. We have been in a drought for the last few years. So we do need water. We need water. So it's been last week. Basically, I'll stay as long as we need to. I did cut it a little bit short. I was a little bit of a time crunch last week. It's always when you go to do something, the unexpected happens. It was 5 minutes to 8 last week, and my niece texts me a photo. Her car rim is all damaged. So I tell the wife, send her a quick message, tell her that I'm just running downstairs to do the live event, and I will get with her as soon as I can. So so I had that in the back of my mind and want to help her out. She goes to college, and she was in a night class and come out at night and didn't know what to do. So it's hard for a young woman. She gets nervous about it. So I was trying my best to accomplish both things at the same time. Give her a helping hand, but also continue on with my live event at the same thing in the evening. So that's what's happening in the world right here in the state of Utah. The weather, like I say, normally this time of year, we can get a mix. We can get rain and we can get snow. Typically, as we start getting into March, it's normally in the form of rain in northern Utah and not as much snow. So, but we had the colder temperatures came with this, so it was really great. So in the news, interesting article if you are looking at rentals. They did a article. Good evening, Frank. There was an article that said that Salt Lake County added 46,000 rental units since 2000. 46,000 to keep up with the needs. Actually, 46,100. And they are expecting another 18,167 units by 2024. So in 2 years, we are going to add approximately another 18,000 units on top of that. 43% of the new units that were added since 2014 were in Salt Lake City alone. As far as the whole county goes, we have a lot of cities in the county, but 43% since 2014 have been in Salt Lake City, the growth. And we still can't meet the needs that are needed for people. So the counties, this will be Salt Lake County, and I would say that this probably applies to most counties that I've seen. The county's rental vacancy rate dropped to 2% for the first time. Only 2% vacancy. They estimate there was only 3,000 vacancies out of the 148,000 rental units last year. The previous low was in 2017 at 2.6%. And back in 2012, we were at 4%. So we keep going down and down and down. The average cost for a rental unit, and they combined like a studio, a one bedroom, and a multi-bedroom. When they combine them all together, it nearly doubled from in 2010, it was $720. In 2021, the average was $1,301, almost a double. They also said in the report that in Salt Lake County, most county residents still own their own property. Renters account for about 31% of the total housing in the year 2000. And in 2021, it was 34.3%. Now, that number to me were only 31% homeowners, or 31% of the people rented back in 2000, and in 2021, 34.3%. So a jump of roughly 3%. And that's something that's always on my mind is, I mean, I believe homeownership is one of the greatest things that we have in the United States. And when I see numbers like that, where you see it dwindling, more people are renters than more people are not renters than homeowners, but the number is increasing, the amount of renters that we have out there as opposed to homeowners. We went from 31% to 34%. And I would guess if they took the whole state of Utah or even the whole United States, I would say that we've probably had an increase around the country. And where that leads us, it may lead us to a society where we have, more people renting than owning properties. And that's something I'm not a big fan of at all. I think homeownership is great. I think it's a great wealth builder, great retirement. Do you know anything about the Jepson Canyon Resort? Started in Apple Valley. It will have 400 home sites, 9-hole golf course, and a lodge. I am not familiar with that at all. Give an idea with people who are looking if we can get that there. Okay, bear with me one moment. Let's see if I can share my screen here. Okay, so first of all, Apple Valley is located to the east of the St. George area. So as far if some people were wondering where we are talking, that would be the location. But I am not familiar with that resort that's going in there. 400 homes, 9-hole golf course, and a lodge. Are they going to be vacation rentals or primary residence? I mean, they could be used for both. I have not heard anything on that. So, hello, Governor. How are you doing today? Great. I'm doing good. It's been a great week this weekend. I had the opportunity to head out of town. Left Saturday, went down to Las Vegas to the NASCAR race. We just went to the Sunday race. We didn't attend the Saturday race. I think it's still called the Busch Series, I believe. I'm not 100% certain, but we went to the main event on Sunday and drove back on Tuesday. Did a little golfing on Monday. It's been a few years since I've been down to the race, probably about 4 or 5, probably before COVID for sure. We enjoy going every once in a while. A lot of the drivers that I kind of grew up with or knew are no longer in the series, but great time. Great time. And if you are looking at living in northern Utah, to go to Las Vegas, you're about a 6-hour drive. 5.5, 6 hours. You really do move along. We have quite a few areas on that stretch probably the majority of the stretch is 80-mile-an-hour zones. Once you get out of the Spanish Fork, Provo, Orem, then Spanish Fork area, bumps up to 80 mile an hour, and it stays pretty much 80 mile an hour until you get to like Cedar City area. And through there, it slows down. And then when you get out of Cedar City, it bumps back up to 80 mile an hour. So it is, you do get to move along the road. So for those who would like to pop down, I stayed at the Luxor and didn't realize that the ACM Awards were on Monday. I had a very difficult time getting back to the parking lot on Monday. They held it at the Raider Stadium, which is right across the street from the Luxor in Mandalay Bay. And they block off quite a few roads for events like that. So a lot of celebrities were in town this weekend. Okay, so U.S. inflation rate. As we probably know, inflation is very high. It has hit a 40-year high with no end in sight. But as far as it applies to Utah, so the Mountain West region, which they included Arizona, Colorado, Idaho, Montana, Nevada, New Mexico, Utah, Wyoming. Our 12-month increase was 9.7%. And nationally, they report it at 7.5%. So we are higher than the average around the country. Over the past 12 months, and this is referring to Utah, grocery prices are up 8.6%. Gas is up 38%, which after this week, it's probably 50%. And housing costs rose 4.7%. Not good news at all. Because with it, the report also stated that inflation is running far ahead of the pay raises that many have received in the past year, making it harder for them to afford food, gas, and rent. Very, very, very true. Very, very true. So the local Desert News and Hinckley Institute of Politics poll found that inflation was the number one economic concern for Utahns, with 50% of the response rating it as the most pressing fiscal challenge, which is rightful. 100%. So yes, inflation is running crazy. And my personal opinion is, inflation may come down, but I think the prices are here to stay. At least most of them. The fuel prices, long term will probably come down if there's ever a resolution with the Russia-Ukraine going on, because a lot of the oil is driven by other factors than just cutting off the pipeline or cutting off oil from Russia. There's a lot of other factors. So great. Any more questions this evening? How is everybody doing? How are other states doing? Quiet night tonight. If I could show you anything on the... Let me go back to, for people who are curious, since I've got the map up, on the St. George area. The actual St. George portion is St. George and Washington are it's getting crowded. There's no doubt it's getting crowded. You're seeing people move out to area like Ivins, Santa Clara, Hurricane, Laverkin, and Virgin, and Apple Valley has seen some people moving in. That is some of the areas to consider. Also, if you are looking at the St. George area, There's also, I actually know a lady that moved to Gunlock. So Gunlock, though, I don't know much about Gunlock except for what she has told me, but it is at a higher elevation. So it is cooler temperatures up there, but I believe they also do receive snow at that location. But I've never personally been there myself. But I will visit her one day. So she lived in northern Utah, and her family members have. Her husband's passed away, and her other family members are living in Las Vegas. She did not want to live in Las Vegas, but she wanted to be fairly close, so she chose Gunlock. Very crowded down in South Florida. I guess it's the height of the snowbird and trout season. Yeah, Frank. Plus, I mean, I've been helping some people from Florida, and what I'm hearing about Florida is the Democratic states on the East Coast, people who want to or care to leave those states are choosing Florida as their number one destination. So, like New York, some of those areas are choosing Florida. So, I know the state of Florida is in a huge population increase, and I don't see that changing anytime soon at all. Not at all. We're seeing a few people from Florida choosing Utah. I do get calls, one or two people. So, yeah, it's good. Yeah, and when you look at the Florida, so I mean, the COVID situation was, I think, a big plus for Florida. People in other states, especially blue states, noticed how Florida was open for business. Disney World was open. Pretty much everything was open. You could go to a restaurant, et cetera, et cetera. And people noticed that. They did notice it and are choosing. It was great for. I think it was great for getting people to move to the state. I mean, nobody wanted COVID, and none of us are fans of COVID, but it definitely is going to increase the population down there in Florida. So, yep, very good. Any more questions this evening? Anything else we got before I call an evening? I am going to call it a night. Hope everybody has a great weekend, and I will be back again next weekend. Next week, next Thursday.